Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk One Piece chapter 908. The reverie begins, but the craziness continues. Wow, I didn't think that we would be getting so much information about the world in these chapters, and this continues being just so strong. That said, when you look at the chapters, like, they aren't really finishing any of the things they start. Like, right, last week we had the really epic idea of Shanks meeting with the 5 Elder Stars, but we don't really go past it at any point in this chapter. And so the storyline that's getting the continuation is, of course, the Shirahoshi storyline with everyone else that's around her. But on the world building stuff, we're not finding out about the cool stuff, right? We didn't find out about last week's thing, and now this week we got a new stinger left to us. We got Yim, I think that's how you pronounce it, YM, being introduced and sitting in the empty throne. And it's just, well, I guess sort of in a way we're continuing his or her storyline too, because we last saw this person in front of the Straw Hat, but we don't know what the Straw Hat is, but we just see that this person is continuing. I don't think, actually, I really want them to clarify what they mean by give us a name, Yim. I want to know what Yim's thinking, but I don't know if we actually will know, because Oda seems to just be dropping hints about this person but not really giving us concrete information. I mean, aside from the fact that this person is the King of Kings that sits on the empty throne. Oh my god. But yeah, no, cool stuff. Like, it's just so exciting. So much exciting stuff going on. The only thing that I really want to bring your attention to is when it comes to Yim, like, he cut up a bunch of the pictures. He cut up Blackbeard. He cut up Luffy. They might have some, that might be like, there might be a serious vendetta against the D there. That might be like why it happened. But he also cut up Shirahoshi. And the only person's picture who seems to get away safely is Vivi's. So if Vivi comes back into the story in a big way, because now she has machinations on her as well, that'd be very interesting. But we really need to see what this guy's thinking, or what this person is thinking. Vivi's there, and honestly, I'm happy that Shirahoshi got a sword through her face, because that probably means that at the very least this guy won't be gunning after her directly. Like, right now, Vivi's the one that's in the more interesting position when it comes to this guy. But yeah, guys, One Piece chapter 908, man, a lot of cool stuff happened. It's funny that this is the chapter everyone sits down for at the Reverie, but like, the whole sit down process itself isn't that cool, right? The coolness will come when they start talking about like the accolades of Luffy and how Luffy's amazing. But everything else in the chapter is really where that, like, the cool stuff's happening. For instance, Bonnie's here. Man, Bonnie is like one of the most well-traveled of all the Supernova. Now, my question with Bonnie is, of course, is she actually royalty? The person, the queen of the, what's it called, Sobei country or whatever, was called Connie. And already you can see, like, the name is kind of similar there. So I do wonder to what degree does that matter. But we just get more clarification. This person cares about Kuma, and we see what they've done to Kuma. Kuma is largely, he doesn't have a will anymore, so him getting stabbed and shit, I'll live, I'll survive, that's okay. You know, it's not hurting me as much, because like, Kuma's already been the person that took weapon upon weapon when he was guarding the Straw Hat's ship. So seeing him still taking abuse, not the biggest problem, but it is pretty disrespectful how he's being treated. He was a good member of the Shishibukai, but it just tells you, like, once they got what they wanted out of him, like, he was ultimately nothing. And then it just goes on with the idea that Sabo's group was saying, like, he was made an example of, which is, that's rough. That part was rough. But on other notes, we have Shirahoshi's side of things, and we have more information with the Don Quixote member. I can't pronounce his name, so I'm just going to call him Good Don Quixote. And I ultimately like this guy. I also like that he's pretty much telling Leo, like, yeah, you could do whatever you want, man. Like, I'll try and cover for you, but yeah, just, we got to protect Shirahoshi. So as we're seeing this, it just, I look at this and I look back to Fishman Island, and you know, Fishman Island, like, people usually the talk on YouTube is like people don't really like it that much. I thought it was a good arc, but now the value of Fishman Island is again being brought here. The value, it makes Fishman Island be more like, it makes Fishman Island seem like it wasn't an important Straw Hat story, but it was an important world story, because the people from Fishman Island are most likely going to be pivotal, and the people that the Fishman Island folk touch, like Don Quixote, they're going to be pivotal actors in this arc. So it really becomes a point where you can't tell the story of One Piece without the events of Fishman Island. And so I do hope that after this, people appreciate Fishman Island a little bit more, at least for what it does for the world building, and less for how lackluster its villain was. Like, the point of Fishman Island was to establish the bonds between human and fishmen, pretty much, because that's ultimately what's saving the group here. It's the bonds that Shirahoshi's mother forged with this Tenryubito, Don Quixote. So I really hope that Fishman Island comes out in like people appreciate the people from Fishman Island more at the very least. Anyway, the things with this group versus the group of Tenryubito that are going after Shirahoshi, it's going to be interesting to see if we actually get a conflict shake out. Right now, Charlos' side has Kuma on them. So if Kuma was to come out and he was to use Kuma to like fight Shirahoshi's group, that would be so interesting, and there's nothing wrong with hitting the slaves of a Tenryubito. So if Kuma shows up, if we get a tag team with Sai and Leo, oh man, I'd be so into it. That'd be so cool, because honestly, like, I want to see how the Straw Hat Grand Fleet works with each other. I want to see more of that, so I'm pretty excited. That said, the best solution here is that we get no conflicts. It'd be better off if we just don't deal, if people just don't get into fights, because like every time there's an opportunity for a fight, there's an opportunity for things to go wrong. Anyway, on other side of things, or on the other side, we have the revolutionaries again making their presence known. Pretty good stuff for them. They're hiding out. I love the power that lets them do this. So cool stuff. But unfortunately, on the revolutionary side, we don't really have much besides the possibility that there might be planning of rescuing Kuma. They might not be able to get him back to normal, but it seems like Kuma might be a potential spoil for this victory. It'd be nice if Kuma got removed from their hands and maybe restored. I mean, like, the revolutionaries have a pretty good gadgeteer with them, right? So maybe he could possibly do something. Now, the only thing that's really left to really just touch on is the stuff that Riku, Cobra, and Fujitora are doing, and the things that Cobra is requesting. So those three are pivotal in this arc, most likely. It's interesting that Cobra's asking for an audience, and it's cool that him, Riku, and Fujitora are like talking with each other. So there's a lot of moving parts here, right? At this point, we have Bonnie, we have the revolutionaries, we have the Shirahoshi group, then we have Fujitora's group, we have the Elder Stars, we have Shanks, we have Yim, whatever his name is at the end. That's at least 7 parts, or maybe if you count the other Tenryubito, that's 8. So there's a lot of things going on in this arc, and ultimately, like, our win condition for this arc right now, I think, is going to be Shirahoshi and everyone that's affiliated with the Straw Hats getting out of this thing alive and well. That's the win condition for this arc. But at this point, it's pretty scary. It's going to be interesting to see just how things shake out. I wonder how much more chapters of Reverie we have, because this is a lot of information. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. It's just, there's so much room for speculation, but I don't even know where to start. I will notice though, or I will note, did you notice the rabbit guards that Dalton brought? I thought that was a pretty nice little touch. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts. I think a lot of really interesting things are happening, but right now we have a lot of characters with targets on their backs, and I would like for all those characters to get out alive. Anyway, guys, let me know what you thought of the chapter down below, and till next time, I hope you had an absolutely great day.